Okay, Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends, we have come to the last question and answer session. So we have received several questions, reports. So we will start the session with written reports.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 2 reports so far. Report number 1, Avasarai Venerable Bhante. Report on meditation experience. Walking meditation. Mind was quiet at peace. Mind was quiet at peace at the beginning of the practice. Generally, I need a few rounds to calm my racing mind down. After some time going up and down the path with fairly good concentration, I stopped to turn around. At that point, I felt vibrations on my soles quite strongly. As I kept watching, the sensation spread to the ground area as well. I felt vibrations everywhere. Observed this arising and passing away till the vibrations become less. Next, I felt the heat on my soles. When I shifted a bit, the heat vanished. Sitting meditation. Sat on the cement block outside immediately after the walking practice. Here too, I felt vibrations on my soles and on the ground area around my soles. Reflected that inside this body and outside, the elements operate in the same way. Felt this body was quite insignificant and totally dependent on the outside environment. Thero Saranai.
Yeah, nothing to add. So basically that is how we start with paying attention to the inside, so the internal aspect, and we are using the body as an example for that. So more and more we observe, so that understanding what we draw is not limited to that internal phenomena. Now we can extend it to the outside as well. So this is how the Vipassana understanding is growing, starting with the internal, some selected, limited type of sample, and we develop that insight. But that insight is not limited to the sample, but it is a very general insight. So we can apply it to everywhere, wherever the physical phenomena are. So your understanding is now can be generalized to everywhere. So I feel there is nothing much to add. So you have observed various phenomena, particularly the bodily phenomena, bodily sensations, leaving into the, the feelings aspect as well. So continue the practice as much as possible. Do this observation, investigation. It will take time. Actually, don't get discouraged thinking, okay, I was observing this, investigating for 7 months now, 8 months now. So don't think like that. Just continue to observe. It can even last for several years, who knows. The more we investigate, the more will be the understanding, the Vipassana knowledge. That is the one ultimately, naturally, gradually leave aside the attachment. So the ultimate result is to keep the mind completely free from the physical world, completely free from this physical attachment. But it won't happen by mere reasoning. Even though we can say, okay, there is nothing there, it is like a pena pindu pamang rupang, it's like simply like a form. It is a mere indication to the mind, but mind is not ready to accept it and completely let it go. It takes a fair amount of investigation again and again, 1,000 times, and then slowly you will get that kind of a changes happening within you, within the psyche. So what is the attitude towards the physical world, towards our own so-called body, and towards someone else's body, towards what we call as different objects, what we are associating, and all that slowly we get that understanding. So it will take time. So therefore, we have to be fairly patient in this process, particularly the Vipassana process. So it will take time. So please be patient with it and continue the practice.
Report number 2, Most Respected Bhante. During the past few days, although I did all the activities in mindful manner, I observed the difficulty of recalling them specifically to write a report. Most of the time, generally I experienced a calm and clear mind, and it was in a very neutral state. Therefore, no big interest came to remember or analyze the meditation experiences too. But I feel some improvement in my mind. Please advise. Theruvan Saranai.
So maybe it depends on the stage that where you are. So at the beginning of our practice, say you were completely unmindful, and that is how we started with. And now slowly we are able to collect our attention, pay our attention, and say now, so instead of being unmindful, now we are paying enough attention to each and every activity. We are trying our best. So now things started getting recorded in the mind. So that is why at one aspect, at one level, we say mindfulness helps to develop the memory. So your memory power will be increased. That is there. But later things may change as you turns into Vipassana. So that is also not the beginning part. Later, during the observation part, the investigation part, still there may be a fair amount of memory still available. But once you reach that letting go part, it's a natural reaching of that state. So there the mind starts dropping the things, letting go of things rather than holding things. Now mind prefers that non-association. Mind now prefers non-grasping and doesn't want to hold things to, doesn't want to adhere things to, rather prefers the freedom. So at that time the registration may not happen. So that we need to see, why this, previously I was so much strongly grasping, but nothing grasped now. Almost like different phenomena are like very much like slipping off from the mind. Nothing is registered. So you lose even daily activities. You lose. You don't want to recall them, and you don't feel it worth even sometimes. And mind prefers to be lighter than holding and burdened and heavier. Now mind prefers to be lighter, relaxed, and maintaining kind of a very empty or spacious type of environment. So that is the preference. So we need to encourage that. So not the encouragement that I want to hold things, I want to memorize all these things. Rather you are preferring, okay, let go. No need to hold things. Whatever happens right now, spontaneously let me react, let me act. And that's also not based on the defilements. Rather, your mind may have some balance, equanimity to look at a particular situation. So accordingly, you may take a proper decision, and then you will act, but not really being burdened by the past memories. But that doesn't mean that you altogether get into a dementia type of thing. You can still remember your family members and maybe your language and all that you can remember. Now say for example we are talking now, say I am talking now using a language. So where this memory is stored. So before I come here, did I practice English speaking? No, it's there somewhere. I am just speaking out. So like that, so it's coming out naturally. Not that I have remembered everything purposely just before this or a few weeks ago. It's not like that, but somewhere it is there, it's naturally flowing out. So similarly, our life also, so kind of a natural flowing out may happen rather than we storing things heavily and maintaining a very strong storage of information. So the mind prefers that lighter, spacious, empty kind of an attitude, such kind of a maintenance, rather than too much thinking, proliferation and remembering and all that. It's now appear like a burden. So on this stage, there is a possibility that you may not remember much, or we can say certain things may flip off from the mind. It's unavoidable. So that's the answer. So you have any contribution? The question also forgot? So sometimes it happened to me. The people. During the retreats, so they read the report, and I suddenly strike to my mind. Okay, this is the point I need to address. But when they are talking about the next passage, I forgot that part. So I asked them to repeat. Can you repeat that last statement? What to do? Often it happened, repeating the same thing again, then something is there, by the way. Good side is also there, bad side is also there. So bad side is I sometimes forget the things. Good side is mind prefers that lighter, unburdened kind of a state rather than burdening the mind. Because the memories are a real burden. So if you remember all the things, particularly the point is that mind remembers the bad things, not the good things. Yeah, that's the problem. All the worries and that all neglectful things that happen to you, and say where you have made a mistake, where the other person neglected you, belittled you, offended you, blamed you, those are the ones recorded in our mind often. Real burden helps to prepare a self. Once it comes to the mind, again we go and regret and grieve about it, cry about it, again prepare a self. But if it is not coming, and then it's a much healthy mind. So you are fresh to the next moment. You are fresh in the present moment. Not being sort of judgmental thinking merely based on the past experience, but a little bit of an open. And then you have some space to attribute to accompany the new experiences rather than being bound with yourself. So kind of an opening is there in the heart. So you are welcoming the incoming experience, ongoing experience, rather than strictly having a closed fist. So typically what we go through is that, so please don't disturb me, I want to be alone, I'm this it. So kind of a fixation is there. But now you are free, your mind has space, new things can accommodate, so your mind has fair space and lighter. So I feel that may be more healthier than suffering by holding many past memories. So this is not only I am telling, many other teachers are telling the same thing. Say there may be instances that we even forget what we need. That's the little say disadvantage of this process. So that is where we have to be strategic, where we are using a diary or a book or a cell phone, a reminder or something like that, so that what is most important, then you record there and put a reminder, and you still forget it now. Because it is there now, nothing to worry. Because say for example, while walking, there may be instances a very important thing pops up to your mind. It can often happen because while walking it's a very relaxed mental set, mindset, and maybe a good solution to your problem, and maybe a little task that you need to do, and it's quite important. So rather than remembering it, better write it down and forget it. Then it is there, nothing to worry. So during that occasion you can read it and you can present it. Nothing to worry about remembering it, burdening to the mind, carrying it as a heavy load in the mind. So let it be in the book, let it be in the phone, and once you are there, you read it and present it, talk it, done it. That's also gone, and again forget it. Keep forgetting things. So you might ask next time, one day, what is the day today? Yeah, please, yes.
I was thinking of this this belief about Chuti-sitta. And when you're dying, that you remember all the guilty feelings and the regrets, and whether you like it or not, the memory is there. I want to know.
Yeah, it can happen. Now, that is one aspect of sila. So, if we are not maintaining proper sila, there could be regrets. So, but if you are maintaining proper sila, instead of regretting, so you feel confident, you feel that I deserve even more progress in this spiritual path because I am maintaining a good sila. Kind of you feel more confident, you feel more positive about yourself, and you are mentally happy about yourself when compared to the past. Say, I was like this previously, I was ignoring them, I was not considering them, but now I am considering these little things. I am careful about my way of living. So likewise, you feel more and more happy about the new progress, new changes happening in your mind. So that's why Buddha says it's as a anisansa, as an advantage of properly practicing sila. He is telling it to Venerable Ananda when Ananda is asking what is the exact benefit of maintaining good sila. So there Buddha mentioned avippatisarathani ananda kusalani silani. Avippatisara anisansani. So avippatisara means vippatisara means that you are being completely distracted and too much thinking and regretting and grieving and all that. But avippatisara is the opposite. So instead of that grieving and regretting and self-shame or self-hate, so instead now you have, okay, I am a good person now, I am maintaining good sila, you feel more positive. So that is, Buddha say, even that as a result, an advantage of having good sila. And then to your question, I mean, what will happen at the deathbed at the last moment? So it all depends. So it's very difficult to say, okay, I have spent a very good life, and fair possibility is there that you have spent a very good life, and so accordingly you get the a fortunate rebirth, mostly possible. It is also mentioned. But there may be some exceptions also. It also there. And now, say for example, there are two suttas related to the Kamma, Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta and the Maha Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta is of this typical analysis. Buddha is talking, if you do good, you will get that good result. If you do bad, you will get the bad result. That's the basic understanding, acceptance of the Kamma. But there are many instances that our past karma still have some influence, and it also can have some impact, maybe at any instance of our life. So it also can apply during the deathbed or certain incident that we have gone through during your present life. It also can come to the surface of the mind. So these kind of situations are there because if we are unable to train the mind, so then the mind will pick whatever the way it wants. Whatever the incident, whatever the phenomena, whatever the characters it prefers will be taken by the mind. So that's why the mind training is very important before you die. So at the deathbed you can't do this. So that's why we are practicing. So you have now a fair amount of control, what the mind is thinking. So that's why now, say for example, if you practice metta bhavana. So one advantage of practicing metta is, what's that? Sukham supati, sukham patipunyati. Likewise, that there are 11 benefits mentioned. What's that related to the death? Asammulho kalang karoti. Asammulho kalang karoti. That means with a unmuddled mind, with a very fairly established mindfulness, you are able to pass away. So you know what's going on, you are not panicking or you are not, completely bewildered. You can go through it, you accept it, you know what's really going on. You accepted it, can bear it, go through it mindfully. But what happens sometimes is that people being really shocked, and maybe if they have done really something bad things, then the future outcome, probably certain visualizations of that can happen in the mind. They get really fearful about it and screaming about it. So these instances are also there. Now probably you can refer this what happened during the Buddha's time to this Chundasukara. So Chundasukara, typically what happens is during certain time of the day, there's a real screaming comes from their house. And that is because where he is killing the pigs. But another occasion, some similar screaming is coming, and Buddha is asking, you see, monks, now previous days we refer the pig sound, but now we hear the man's sound, that's the Chundasukara. Now he is on the deathbed, he is screaming. He is getting the fearful dreams or fearful visualizations of his next birth in a woeful state. He is screaming now, like a pig. So this is why we need to be careful of the evil karma, the bad, unwholesome karma we do. So if we continue to do that, that's a bad thing also. If it has happened and then we little regret about it, then we try to forget it and we develop more wholesome karma, so that the impact of the unwholesome karma will be more and more reduced and ultimately nullified, because our wholesomeness become more powerful. So that is the whole theme of the Lonakapala Sutta, where Buddha say, okay, you can overcome the power of the unwholesome karma by doing more wholesome karma. So then ultimately the unwholesome karma will have a very little impact. That also happen within this life, which also you can bear easily. It will not get a big impact to you in the next life. Whatever the remainders, you will finish it within this life. That also you can bear. That's the only thing. Because your wholesome power become more prominent, more pervasive, more powerful. But suppose there's a person who is killing or stealing or sexual misconduct or something, continuously doing that same bad activity again and again, so it can have a big impact during the deathbed. Because that's a very, very strong, heavy karma that being implanted to the mind more and more, and then it can have a bad impact during the death moment. But there are instances, say even a good person, say he is going through the final moment, he can also go through the bodily suffering that we can't avoid. So Buddha himself has gone through a certain amount of bodily suffering during the death moment. And say other monks also have gone through some amount of bodily suffering during the death moment. We can't say that the death moment become completely a very, very extremely peaceful, blissful state. Very unlikely. I don't know. We have to die and see. So you can remember what Anathapindika was mentioning to Venerable Sariputta. Once they arrive there, he simply says, Bhante, my head is like torn and bound by a certain very strong stick, and then almost like binding it, and my stomach pain is like you are spearing it or striking it using a sharp weapon. Such pain is there. But anyway, when Sariputta kept preaching and this person was able to understand it, everything was there, he was able to bear it, and he being a noble person. So that's why death is accepted as some sort of a suffering moment. That's why we being sometimes fearful about it and something like that. But we need to accept, so we are being born, so the package has that part as well. Either we like it or not. You feel fearful, right? So that's why before death, train the mind. So that's the only refuge we have, because the mind is the one ultimately helpful to us. No, the body is the one dying, isn't it? The mind, the body, both are dying each and every moment. That is the real case. But if we are talking about the conventional death, so the body is the one actually dying. So what will happen to the mind? So depending on your karma, depending on your potential, it may continue to another life. So if you have more wholesome power, accordingly you may get a better life, and probably you might even like it. Okay, this is now a worn out body, so I can't mend it anymore. I can't feed it anymore. My memory also has gone. I can't see things properly. I can't hear things properly. All the teeth was fallen, and I can't feel the taste. and I can't walk, I'm just lying on the bed and I need some support from someone else to even turn to the other side. So this is our life, isn't it? So probably you might prefer, okay, if I get a new vehicle, not a bad idea. Instead of this old broken vehicle, let me have a new Audi or, BMW, not a bad idea. Good memories, activation. Yeah. So that's why, there is a practice of reading the Pimpota, so those kind of things, and memorizing all the good things, and reciting the Paritta chanting, all that. So that helps to activate the good, wholesome memories to your mind. So that is one way of looking at it. One strategy, by the way. But there are more advanced strategies. As practitioners, as Vipassana practitioners, there may be more advanced strategies. That is where you are trying to keep the mind unattached, not holding to anything. So that is the ultimate actually we can think of. So that is what Venerable Sariputta is preaching to this Anathapindika. He is saying, don't associate your consciousness with any form, with any sound, with any smell, any taste, any tangible, with any thought. Don't associate your consciousness with the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Keep it completely unestablished. This is the whole message that he has given while this Anathapindika was lying on his deathbed. You can refer Anathapindikavada Sutta, very, very beautiful. So the many different ways Venerable Sariputta is emphasizing. So keep the mind completely relaxed, completely released, without holding on to any object. That means complete freedom, unattached state, non-grasping state. So that is what he is recommending. Keep mind there. In emptiness, in essence. In signless, in essence. So if you are able to maintain that, so then actually the next birth will be more wholesome, or we can say more fortunate. And it depends on totally with the wholesome power what you have accumulated, as well as maybe still some, latent tendencies are still available in the mind. Anusaya, asava still available in the mind. You are not being an arahant. So you definitely have a next birth, but it is being more influenced by the wholesome power. Because mind is in a very pure state. Even though it is pure right now, you tried your best to maintain it, still the next birth will be decided because anusaya is there. The asavas are there, so you are not completely attained the parinibbana, but next birth is there, but fairly a fortunate next birth. That's what happened to this Anathapindika. So Venerable Sariputta is indicating him to maintain like that. He being maybe being Sotapanna may be able to do that, but he was born as a celestial being in the, I think, Susidalammo Tavatinsa. And next day he came and report to the Buddha, so Bhante, I am so and so, but actually he didn't mention his name. Buddha knew. And he praised Venerable Sariputta, and I am quite happy that you and the Sangha are really happy in my monastery. It's really a delightful sight for me to see it. And then he praised the Buddha, respected, and went away. And then Buddha reported, yesterday there was a really beautiful deity. He came and reported, and he was quite happy to see me and the Sangha in this Jethavanarama. And he particularly mentioned about the good about Venerable Sariputta. Then Ananda was there Venerable Ananda was there in the crowd. He said, Bhante, he could definitely be Anathapindika. Yeah. Bahya Daruchirya is actually more advanced. So he before he attained he passed away, he attained the arahantship. So if he attained the arahantship, so maintaining unestablished consciousness is very, very natural. So they die, the arahants die while maintaining the unestablished consciousness. So one good example is the Godika Sutta. You can refer Godika Sutta. So that's also a very interesting case. Venerable Godika wants to commit suicide. He was not yet an Arahant, but he wanted to commit suicide. And I think Venerable Sariputta went there with someone else, and he said, please don't do it, and if you want any attendant, I myself will come and do the attendance to help you, and else I'll ask someone else to come and attend you, and please don't commit suicide. And then that advice being mentioned, and then Venerable Sariputta left. And this Venerable Godika, by the way, became fully enlightened. Ultimately, he passed away committing suicide. So Arahants commit suicide. So this is a completely different scenario we need to take out actually. So now a mundane person committing suicide and Arahant committing suicide, what's the difference? So mundane person still have the personality view, still have the ignorance, still assume as a person, and he committing suicide means killing oneself, killing myself. But Arahant is nobody now. Just the mere body is there, mere aggregates are there, and there is no kind of an attachment to the life either, and he simply do whatever he likes. So therefore there is no next birth either. So for us the next birth is there, no? So because that's why the problem with the mundane people, the worldlings, so they even once they commit suicide, even that impact is there. So they may have a woeful state or woeful circumstance impact. So that is therefore not recommended. But for the Arahants, they have their own freedom to do whatever they want to this. The sankharas are mere sankharas for them. So they don't have any attachment to the body or to the anything. So if they want to kill, that's it. Nothing to worry for them, because whatever needs to be done is done, and this is the final birth. There is no rebirth. So interestingly, so only Buddha knew that he attained arahantship, and even the Mara was not sure about it. And after Venerable Godika's passing away, and Buddha and the Sangha is approaching that place, and that time this Mara is searching where this fellow's consciousness has taken rebirth as a dark cloud. And then Buddha say, monks, have you seen this dark cloud going this direction, that direction, this direction, that direction? Have you seen? And then monks say, yes, I have noticed, we have noticed. See, that is the Mara searching for Venerable Godika's next birth. But monks, remember, Venerable Godika passed away with an unestablished consciousness. Appatitidena viññānena Godiko parinibbuto. So with an unestablished consciousness, Venerable Godika passed away. He don't have rebirth. He attained parinibbāna. So the same advice given to even the Sotapanna, this Anathapindika. So try to keep the mind unestablished. Try to keep the consciousness unestablished. So that's the maximum as practitioners we can do. So accordingly, the next birth will be decided based on the merit power, based on the Anusaya Asava. That's the best we can do. So that's why, rather than remembering the past activity and remembering, okay, I did that, I did so, again you are making a person. So that is possible as a, if you are not yet into the Dhamma, if you are not yet into the real practice, to Vipassana, that is what people were doing by reading the Ping Potter and memorizing all that. That is what they do. But as practitioners, probably we may have some advanced option. That is what we are trying our best, to keep the mind unattached as much as possible, not holding to anything, not attaching to anything. So that becomes the refuge. That's why now even living, so we have to try that. Even living Arahants are doing that. So where the mind of the Arahants before they die, Suññato animitto ca vimokko yesa gocharo. So their posture of the mind is sunyata and animitta, signless and the emptiness. So they are keeping their mind like that. So that where their mind has associated, you can't trace. Like the birds flew in the sky. Remember the verse in the Dhammapada? Very beautiful that in the Arahantavanga, 2 verses. Sunyato animitto cha vimekko yesa gocharo akaseva sakuntanang padantasu durannayam. Like the birds who flew in the sky, you can't trace their path, their footpath, footsteps. We can't trace where the Arahant's mind associated, because they associated sunyata and animitta. So this is the role model, this is the target we have to follow. Bit advanced, but this is what we should achieve. Yeah.
Swamin Mahanse was not an arahant when he tried to suicide. At the moment of, he's the one who cut off his neck. So at the moment that Marga Chitta came and he became arahant. That's why.
Sorry, at that moment?
That moment only that arahant Marga Chitta came, and then he became arahant. Because when he decided, wanted to, as far as I remember, when he wanted to suicide, he was
not an arahant. True. That's why Venerable Sariputta intervened and wanted to avoid it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why Maria also didn't know, because it was in a moment's happening.
But still the freedom is there for an arahant to... I mean, we can't say it is suiciding, by the way. Yeah. We can't say it is the suicide. That's typically suicide. The term suicide is applicable only to the worldlings. But the arahants, I mean, they know when the time is there. They know, I mean, when it is going to die. Now, the best example is the Dabbamallaputta. So Venerable Dabbamallaputta is foremost in, I think, in certain psychic powers, and he's the one using his little finger to bear like a torch and accommodating the kutis. So monks were asking the kutis very far away just to see this beauty. So the point is now, he actually became an arahant while his head being shaved to make him a monk. So fortunate guy. And so after being an arahant now, I mean, after ordination, now nothing to do. He already an arahant. Now he wanted to do some service to the monks. So various duties were assigned. One duty was to allocate kutis to the monks. And so how he did the allocation of kutis, in case they arrive at night, so he's an expert in the Tejo Kasina. He's expert in Tejo Kasina. So his little finger he used as a torch. And he attained the Tejo Kasina and, psychic powers, and now it's some glowing happens. Here a fair amount of illumination is there. Now this is the torch. Now he is taking this new monk and assign the kuti and show him the path, and now kuti is allocated. Now monks typically ask the far away kuti now. They also come at night, even though they have the facility to come early. Very interesting. I mean, these are very aesthetic in a way. So they used to come at night and ask the far away kuti. So this Venerable Dabbamalla, so he used this thing and take him to the very far away kuti and do it. And later, so he maybe became old and he understood, okay, now the last moment has come. So the death moment has come, and he went to the Buddha, pay respect to the Buddha, circumambulate the Buddha. And then he raised to the sky, and maybe certain other psychic, exhibits he might have shown, and ultimately burned the body without even a residue. And by seeing it, Buddha made an udana. These are really magnificent stories. So that's why I mentioned, so the arahants we can't say from our mundane terms. So their domain is entirely different. So we are talking of I committing suicide, or he did the committing of suicide, he being a person, how dare he kill himself? So this is the way that we look at. But for the arahants, I mean, they are free, completely free. There is no personality at all. So the mere sankharas are merely flowing. So that's it. Say if the lamp is there and the flame is there, if somebody say blow it, it will go away. Nothing happened to there is nothing is there. Almost like nothing is there. So that's why with respect to arahants, it's mentioned that the typical conventional rules may not apply to them now. Only the body, till the body is there, we see him as a person. But inside him there is no person now. So therefore the typical rules are not applicable to them. So therefore we can't safeguard telling, okay, Godika only did it before he committing being arahant. Maybe, but there are instances like Venerable Dabbamalla, because he knew this is my last moment, the whole life cycle has come to the end, and he just done it. No need to look for a funeral director. Everything done. No need to bury even. Nothing remains. That's an extraordinary type of death. That's why by seeing it, Buddha made an udana. These are really extraordinary instances in the Dhamma. You can read udana, the Venerable Dabbamalla's Sutta, the Dabbamalla's story, how Buddha seeing it, he made a udana. So these are going against our way of thinking. So we want to being a person and to protect ourselves. That is necessary for us to properly practice. But ultimately there may be instance, and that the same thing now. Say who this little Arahant Samanera, what's his name?
Chulapantaka.
No. Adimutta Theragata. So he was being caught to the bandits, and he being a young Samanera but an Arahant, and he was taken to kill. And he simply says, if you want to kill, you do it. I don't bother. These are mere sankharas passing away, arising and passing away. Whatever you do, whatever you want, you do it. Can you imagine like that? Then this fellow was frightened by hearing it. The others are crying and please be mercy, please, I have this fellow, I have that fellow, I have children are there, my mother is sick, the new election is there, so please don't kill me. Sorry? Huh? German priest. I don't know. Vipassana say? No, he didn't commit suicide. Jnana Veera Saminas. Yeah. With Jnana Veera I heard about such thing. But we can't say that everybody who committed suicide are arahants. Don't come to that conclusion. All the monks who committed suicide are not arahants. We can't generalize that. These are some extraordinary cases, exceptions actually. Okay, anyway, don't think about the Chutisita. Please mindful right now. So people are interested of Chutisita, but please be interested of currently how you are spending your time. Currently, where am I? Where the mind is? Is it having any attachment? Is it having any defilement? So this is the time to practice. So don't wait till the last moment. Because we don't know when the last moment will be. That is the reality of this life. These are the instances with respect to Marananusati. Often ask the Buddha to reflect how the death will happen, when the death will happen, where the death will happen, unknown. So this is the reality, accept it, practice it to the best of your ability. That's the best we can do. Okay, so no more questions? Yeah. Another Chutisita? Yeah. Sorry? Can't hear. Please use the mic.
Yesterday you talked about a story of
Anuruddha Swamina Hanse
Yeah.
about that prapancha.
Yes.
And is that in a sutta?
Yeah. It's in the Anguttara Nikaya Attaka Nipata. 8 factors Attaka Nipata.
Okay.
Anguttara Nikaya.
The
name is Anuruddha Sutta.
Okay.
Anuruddha Sutta. Yeah. Because 8 factors are there. Venerable Anuruddha had 7 factors and Buddha adds the 8th factor. 8th factor is the most important one about the Nipapancha.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thero Sarna.
Thero Sarna.
Some more questions? Yeah.
Avasarai Bante.
Yeah.
The second question is from my one.
Yeah.
The forgetting things. Now, how can I believe about my mind?
Believe about your mind.
Yeah, sometimes forgetting everything, but how can I say it's an improvement?
Improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going wrong?
Yeah.
No, we can say it is something going wrong at the early stage of our practice. In case so I am unable to practice again, now the forgetfulness may appear. But when it comes to Vipassana, where we were talking that not holding the nimittas, properly store things in our mind, we need to pick the nimittas, we need to pick certain signs. Accordingly, we are storing things. But now, mind don't prefer to pick the nimittas as we practice the signless, as we practice the emptiness. So the life become more instantaneous, spontaneous. So you are open up, you are fully open, and certain amount of acceptance is there, and mindfulness is the only refuge, the protector, and you are living the present moment. Whatever happens, accordingly at that moment you take a decision, at that moment you use your wisdom and act, continue. That's it. Something like that. So not much dependent on the past memories, but you are opened up very much like. I am not saying that I am there, I mean we all are there, but this is the direction showing. So there may be instances that we need to reflect about the past. You can reflect so, but the tendency is to maintain that open attitude, not being burdened by the memories. So therefore, if you feel forgetful, so it's an indication that mind doesn't want to store things now. We need to see it as in that line. It is not a downfall, but rather now mind doesn't want to hold, grasp, making it burdened. Rather it prefers this spaciousness, lightness, instead of trapped, instead of holding, grasping. You can check your own mind, how burdened you were before you come to this stage. How much you were thinking before you come to this stage. And now what is the state? Are you still into too much thinking? Are you still into too much burdening? Remembering many things and remembering past events and crying? Remembering past events and say laughing? Or simply being in the present moment? That is most preferred. If that is the case, we are in the correct path. Yeah.
Actually, Bhante, dates also I can't remember sometimes. Morning also checking the date and evening also checking the date.
Yes. So better, in my calendar I pasted a little circle. Not a circle, a little mark. And I always keep my phone with me.
Yeah,
now advanced phones are there. So fortunately one devotee gave it to me. So I am making maximum use of it.
Now signing the documents in the office also I am checking the dates every moment in the computer and doing that forgetting.
Just accept it. We can't correct it.
Now staying here also I can't remember how many days I stay here.
Erase what?
When staying here also, now I can't remember how many days I stay here.
Really? Don't worry, the Dilhara will chase you away.
Thero Sarna Bhante.
Yeah, Thero Sarna. So now, Nissarana, so everything is in my phone. I mean, it doesn't mean we are unable to handle things and all that. So this is why various devices are there, books are there, record everything there. Keep the mind relaxed. So don't worry about the forgetfulness. Keep the mind relaxed as much as possible, spacious as much as possible. It won't be a kind of a disadvantage, because ultimately at the death you have to forget everything. Even though you remember everything, nothing will be taken to the next life. You are thinking about your children, your mother, your father, your brother, sister, husband, wife, holding loads of information about the country and worlds and so much of things. And it can be a real hindrance even at the deathbed. Say you have a lot of affection towards someone. What will happen during the next birth? So it will be a real burden to you. It will be really a disaster. You will be reborn as someone who is, instances probably you have heard such in stories, because you are holding too much affection towards your husband, towards your wife, towards your children. So then you can't let go. So these are the burdens actually. So if your mind has nothing, so where you are holding it. So then the merit power will decide where you go. Not that unwholesome attachment, rather merit power, whatever the karma that you have accumulated, it will push you to the wherever it necessary, rather than you being trapped. So in a way we have to be a little brave. Whatever happens, okay, I am ready. So this is the way it is. I am ready to accept. I am ready to die. So I am just continuing. That's why as we progress, so typically it is mentioned that the yogi is not expecting external support. You are not going after deities and asking their support, and So that is kind of the feeble kind of a mentality. So you become more stronger, mentally stronger. You are not expecting someone else to come and feed you and all that, and because you feel confident. Okay, I am now capable. Mind is somewhat matured. You accept this is the way of the life. Death is inevitable. One day it will happen. Okay, I am ready to go through. This is the kind of attitude that we have to grow. Otherwise, we start crying and worrying, and all that is there. So you can refer Aryavasa Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya Dasaka Nipata, 10th. So there Buddha mentioned mindfulness is the only refuge for the nobles. So they consider that as my own protector. If I am mindful, I can handle everything. So the mindfulness is kept as the primary thing. So I am mindful, I am in the present moment, so I am facing the situation. That's it. You don't ask someone else to help you and bodyguard you and external sources, deities to protect you. It's kind of a strong path. Taking you, now assume now typically, as typical human beings, we are very weak. Right? So we expect others to come and help me. I expect my deities to come and protect me. I am pleading others' help. You go to Kataragama and plead from Kataragama, say Deva, okay, please protect my life, please protect my life. The feeble mentality, isn't it? So we are going after, we are being more blinded and asking someone else's protection. So we being feeble then, we being weak mentality. But Buddha didn't approve that. They say, okay, you be the refuge for yourself. You be the master. So this is the direction we have to move forward. So don't worry. Empty mind is mindful mind. So the empty mind is the actually now you can refer a beautiful sutta. this Unnaba Brahmana Sutta. I have mentioned it here also. Unnaba Brahmana Sutta. So when Venerable this Brahmana Unnaba, he asks, what's the refuge for the mind? So Buddha says that is the sati, mindfulness. Satiko Brahmana Manassa Patisarana. Mindfulness is the refuge for mind. Then he asks the question, beautiful question, what is the refuge for mindfulness? What do you think? What is the refuge for mindfulness? Satyako Brahmana Vimutti Patisaranansi. Vimutti. Vimutti is freedom. So if your mind is free, you are naturally in the house of mindfulness. Not house of fashion, house of mindfulness. So you don't need to search mindfulness, and you are there. You are inside mindfulness. You don't need to purposely maintain mindfulness because mind is empty, mind is freed. Free mind, you don't need a second level of mindfulness. It's naturally mindful. Typically we call it as kind of effortless mindfulness. So if your mind is free from everything, so don't worry about it. I mean, you are somewhat all right. Okay, I think it is enough. We have spent 1 hour. And we asked some books from Nissarana to carry. If you want, you can circulate them. I will ask Dilhara to collect them from Bandula. I mean, probably later you can do it. Oh, she's going there now. You can do it later, don't worry. And let me share the merits. Today the breakfast dana was offered by Ira De Silva to invoke blessings to her departed mother, Mrs. Nalini De Silva. May her sansaric journey be short and attain Nibbana in near future. Okay, Venerable Dhammarankara is just idling, so I like to pass the mic to him for him to conduct the sharing of merits.
Avasaraya Swamin Wahanse. Pinnatuni, let's share our merits with celestial being, Devas, Brahmas, whoever needs merit from us, and these all merits may help us to penetrate the true Dhamma. Ektavatacham hehi sambadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ektavatacham hehi sambadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ektavatacham hehi sambadam punya sampadam sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu mamparan. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñāteo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñāteo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñāteo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satan samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satan samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satan samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Pinnatuni, please recite Namaskara 3 times in order to observe Ajivattamaka Sīlaya.